What started out as a lightning challenge turned into something much more intriguing. Can you predict who will win? This is Legendary Tactics.
I think everyone knows very clearly I'm going to win.
Oh, well, we'll see. So this started out as a lightning game where we were just rushing to see how fast we could get a game finished. And it ended up, just changing around on us. And so we thought we'd change up the presentation.
That's right. We had a little bit of trouble with some lag and some frames per second issues, but it didn't matter because there was something actually cooler that happened here, and it left me a little bit surprised. But so what we're gonna do is bounce back and forth between our turns.
So I'm the screen at the top,
and I'm the one at the bottom.
Yeah, so I took Cleopatra with my one civil action, and Cleopatra is one of the expansion leaders that actually I quite like.
She's great.
There's a lot of really neat leaders actually in the new version. But interestingly, you took Frugality, which was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
Frugality is not normally one of the top cards. If you look at the strategy guides on Board Game Geek or whatever,
I sometimes use it just to stall so that I don't have to use food. I don't need to build my agriculture up too early.
Yes,
but it's very ineffective. You're right.
Yeah, I find agriculture the least interesting of all the resources.
Really
it's like, oh my gosh, I gotta feed these people.
You just get the ocean liner going, just so you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. I love the ocean liner, which when you play the expansion, you can't count on it turning up.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I love those cards like development of trade routes. I find there's just something nice about them, even though they boost everyone. I think it's something, when you compare it to rats or pestilence or something, it's like, I just like the boost. Everyone gets it, but it's like, okay. But when someone gets all their food wiped out by rats and they've saved up 50, I think we had one game where you lost 14 food with a rat.
Well, I get so annoyed with those because it's just like, why do you want to penalize everybody? And I know you penalize yourself less than everybody else, but it just seems detrimental to a society trying to advance itself.
And you can't time it properly, so the card beforehand might be, hey, everyone gets free food, and then the card you planted ages ago, which is rats, wipes out all the food that you would have had for free, and it sets you back. And I don't know, I just don't understand why
that's right
anyone would want to do that. I just don't want to set myself up for potential big loss.
So we're pretty even here in terms of what we're producing. 2 food each, 3 money each. We've got 1 science each, and no culture. So we're off. We're right about the same. You got a lot more cards in hand though.
Yes. Yeah. And
you've got a wonder under construction, the Hanging Gardens there, so you're going to get a happiness boost. So that's another cheat too, so you don't have to build a temple right away. There you go. So you've got that now.
Yes. Yeah, I just I find that the temples sometimes I get stuck into building them, but I find that they're a bit of a especially when you build upgrade to the organized religion tile or whatever, they can be pretty expensive.
Yes, very much so.
I know the happiness is necessary, but it just seems like I'd rather spend the money on other things. And so, I did have a big hand of cards. It's now gone.
Yeah, that's fair. You can actually see down here that I was scouting you there. I think that's one thing that's really important in a traditional game, is just to be watching what your opponent is doing. In this, it's a little bit confusing when we're both on your screen, but... And what I tried to do, with this format is to make it so that, it was zooming in on the screen of the player who's playing. So right here's you. That's right. So Stonehenge is a nice boost for me there.
Yeah. As the turn ends, then it kind of phases you out and you can, visually look at the other screen there. So, but you're right. We were pretty much in lockstep here. I mean,
you're up on the cash flow a little bit and on food as well, actually. So you've pulled into the lead here. I would say early game getting your economy running is pretty critical.
And the difference between 1 food or 2 food or
1 science and 2
one
science.
Resource can be can make a big deal.
I love the colonies.
I know you always bid and win the colonies.
Yes.
I think, and you did there.
Well, I love too that you only have to commit as much as the other highest bid too. You don't have to. So even if you bid to the moon, you don't have to spend all of that if everybody else doesn't bid it up.
Yes.
It's nice.
Yeah, but it is a much better format than the bidding system, which other online versions have.
Speeds the game up a lot.
Oh, it speeds up the game a lot, and really, it's essentially you're accomplishing the same goal, which is to bid for a colony, but like almost have an auction, but they just take care of it in one step, which is great. The app is great. I had the app for a few months before I really got into it, because I did find it initially a little bit intimidating. I'm familiar with the game. We've played many games.
Well, we used to play on a really old interface and had a ton of fun, and this looked completely different. Suddenly it's like a civilization in front of you instead of little icons and blobs.
Yeah. But it actually was kind of, I just found it very intimidating to try and figure out.
Sniped you out again on that colony.
Another.
Love it. Yes. I actually find that one particularly useful. Getting 2 yellow tokens back in your at this early in the game is it's huge. Massive, because then happiness isn't an issue for the longest time.
Now the only downside is you've left yourself militarily vulnerable.
That's right.
I mean, even you have that one defense card that is not going to be enough to stave off. So the gains you make from a colony could be robbed from you with some aggressions, right?
That's true.
So
I got lucky, though, that you don't have an aggression that you can play here.
Yes, you did.
But
you did get lucky, because, if I had an aggression or two, it would have been potentially very costly.
I've pulled ahead on the food production now, and also on the culture production, too, so...
Yes, but at this stage, I find the culture production, whether you get it to 1 or 2, it's very marginal. It's not really the consideration.
Although there are a lot of games that come down to a 3 or 4 point victory margin, so that could end up being a difference, but it's hard to quantify that over the course of a long game too, right?
Yeah, but I would say that in general, it's more of a side effect than what you're actually going for. I mean, like most Euro games have a tipping point where you want to move from building your engine, building your resources, to building, culture points, or in this case.
That's right.
So there's going to be a tipping point where now this game's I find a little bit. It's more of a you got to keep an eye on everything throughout the whole game. You shift your emphasis, but it's not like you can neglect your science or something like that and go all in on just culture points.
It's funny though, because I've played Agricola, and I didn't enjoy that game because you needed to play everything so balanced. And I found it was more difficult to go all in on a strategy, but for some reason with this game, I don't mind that there's that sense of balance in it, and I'm not sure what the difference is there.
Yeah, well, I don't know, just better design. I've never been a fan of Agricola, to be honest. But yeah, no, things are, I scored the iron card, which in my mind is one of the most powerful kind of mid-game cards in the game.
That was a huge boost.
Yeah,
and it's cheap. For five science, you can get that on the board, and it pays itself off really quickly.
Yeah, surprise, you won the colony.
Oh yes, and I'm hanging in there with the military.
Yeah. Well, this will change things out. Well, I guess you did get a military colony,
that's right.
Which kept you safe. And I also snagged irrigation, and I'm not normally massive on, building up my food allowance. I'd much rather have the passenger liner, for example, but because with the expansion you can't be guaranteed that the passenger liner is going to be there. You actually do have to plan out your your food needs a little bit more, especially since when the ages change you lose yellow tokens into the ether.
I do have to say, though, I'm not as concerned about getting iron and irrigation in a 2-player game, because there's 2 out there. The other guy can't actually take the other one to hose you, because it'll be grayed out. So as long as it doesn't fall into the 3 X'd out cards that you're going to lose, then you're fine. So I can see the iron coming.
Yes.
I can see an irrigation coming. And this is where our phones there was a bit of a lag, so we were falling a little bit out of sync.
Yes.
But it's pretty close here. So I'm trying desperately to stay in the game militarily, because you do not want to fall behind.
No, and that was actually part of my strategy, was to keep the arms race going, to make sure you're always
keep me honest.
having to. Well, yeah, but you're always having to allow, like, you can't have a turn where you just can peacefully, do your thing. It's like, oh shoot, I'm falling behind. Now you did draw a lot of defensive cards.
Yes, I did.
You really lucked out that way, and so. The other reason why keeping a slight edge on your opponent in the early to mid game is great is because it staves off all the aggressions. You don't have to worry about, and there's a lot of bonuses too that come from being the strongest civilization in the early to mid game.
Definitely. Although I have to say, you suffered more by losing Cleopatra there than I did by losing Moses.
Oh, big time.
Moses,
big time.
Yeah, he was not a great pick.
Moses is not a one of the favorites. But it's what's interesting about adding all the other leaders into the mix. Like Nostradamus is an amazing leader.
He's fantastic.
Actually, he's really cool. But it's really interesting because the dynamics all change and all your reflexes have to change.
That's right.
Because you can't just like say, okay, I'm going to grab Columbus and then I'll grab the next one, or I'll do a culture and happiness. I'll take Bach and then Shakespeare or whatever. Like you just don't have that kind of, progression, that standard progression of leaders that you are used to.
Yes. You were having fun with Saladin here. Just
Saladin was
adding
great.
the civil action or choosing to increase your military.
Yes, so I would artificially. My plan was to take whenever you matched me in military, I would take his boost, and then when you didn't, and when I was ahead, then I would just take the extra civil actions. So you copy the tactic here to match me. So what I did is I artificially, you watch this, I artificially boosted my military just to, again, keep you on your toes and make it so that you weren't able to fully concentrate on building your civilization.
It's funny.
See, I like that card. That one's nice. We each get signed.
It's funny though, because I don't have a leader in play and I'm still tied on military.
Yes.
And you're sometimes artificially inflating your military, so that can come to burn you later when you think you're stronger than you are and your leader suddenly dies on you.
Yes, that's true. But I mainly use that as an intimidation tactic. And the thing is that I've already taken my leader for this age, so I can't. Well, I guess Isaac Newton is coming up, but
there's Nostradamus.
But he's age 1 though, so I already
Right.
have my age 1 leader in place, so I can't take him even if I want.
Sometimes it is good too. Like I've held off on my leader here. If you can jump straight to a leader from the second age, then you get a bit of a power boost there.
Yeah, but I mean, if you can grab a good leader at 1 civil action, I mean, they'll pay for themselves. So you can see I had additional military there, and just to make you uncomfortable. And you're like, wait a sec, what is this card? Let me check this card.
So this is where I'm starting to play you a bit, because at this stage, both of us having despotism seems really late in the game. So I took the Republic there, and
Yes.
knowing that it's going to be a couple of turns before you can get your government going. And so this is actually a strategy I adopted now, was to try to prevent you from getting both military and civil actions.
Yes, and you succeeded, because I was starved for those. What I like about this game is that it is still possible to be competitive even when you are, you only have like despotism still, and the other guys have. I mean, obviously it's a big disadvantage if the other guys have constitutional monarchy or something and you're still in despotism, but you can still be competitive if you're savvy with your card choices and you get a bit lucky.
I'd like to see that, because to me, constitutional monarchy is the best card in the game. The boost you get from that, both military and civil actions, is and it's not that expensive to build too if you sacrifice 1 turn. And if you think about what can you accomplish in 1 turn, could you accomplish much more than gaining 2 civil actions and 2 military actions over the despotism? Like it's a huge spike.
It is. Yeah, it is worth doing. Although I've always liked the idea of actually just burning the science and just doing a peaceful transition, because I like I don't like losing a whole turn.
Yeah, that's fair.
To change
if you
government.
can do that, then more power to you. But sometimes it just costs
obviously you got to be
way too much. But
know.
so yeah, let's do a quick comparison. So we're both producing 1 extra food. You've got 6 income. I've got 4, both at 2 science, and I'm slightly ahead on culture. So overall, I'd say we're fairly even at this stage.
Although I'm ahead in culture points, interestingly.
That's right. Yeah.
So, even though you've got the better residual, I've been taking advantage of some...
Well, you've been pushing more cards out because your military stronger. So you can see here I'm trying to remedy that. I've tied you again. Just can't quite pull
ahead. But you see,
ahead.
I took the extra civic action or civil action this time. But now that you've tied me, and I think that's where, it benefited me a bit because you had to keep defensive cards in hand because of my military strength.
That's right.
So it limited you in terms of other, actions, either putting colonies in the deck or whatever. So I'm playing cards into the deck and I'm getting culture points, which is giving me a bit more of an edge.
So this is where my Republic starts to kick in. So now, as opposed to just getting the 1 civil action you're getting from Saladin, I'm getting a much bigger boost. But the problem is I've only got 2 military actions, which means I'm not bringing in a lot of cards, not a lot of freshness there, and I can't build my military very quickly. So
and I went with coal. I mean, to be honest, if you can get coal or mechanized agriculture in play, it's amazing. You only need like 1 or 2 workers.
That's right.
And that's it. And they feed your entire civilization. You can free up a lot of guys.
Your income's looking great here.
So
you're making 3 extra income every turn over me at this point.
Yeah. So I used a Saladin to just boost my military, just put you on the defensive again, make you think about it. Okay, what's he planning or whatever? And
yet another colony. I wonder which way this will go.
Yeah. Well, you went all in on that far more than I did. So.
I did, yeah. I enjoy those very much.
Yeah. No, they're good as long as they don't leave you too weak for, dealing with potential aggressions. I mean, that's the trade-off.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, especially if they give it kind of a more permanent benefit like happiness or a culture, residual or something like that, then it can be pretty powerful. So.
You can see I'm starting to catch you here. So now would be a great time for people to try to make a prediction of who you think's going to win. Based on the trajectory you're at. I'm starting to catch up because of all those extra civil actions.
Yes, that's true.
And but I mean, realistically, I wouldn't want to bet money on one or the other of us at this point if I were a betting man.
Yeah. And I finally get some aggressions, although, I just tried to steal some science from you.
Yeah, let's see how. Well, and I had some cards in reserve to block that. So
I'm pretty sure you blocked it. The video is a little bit out of sync at the moment, but there you go.
That's right.
So you had cards to defend it. And you were very you always had cards to those defensive cards. You always had them, which is
well, and that can be a bonus. I did that on purpose because I like to use them for colonizing, and when I'm down, it protects me. But then I'm not getting those end game cards, and I'm not stacking them. So what's coming, and you're playing to all those advantages. I have no clue what events are going to be pushed out.
Yeah.
So that would be my real downside here.
And now happiness becomes a factor, so I may have to build religion here.
Oh, you're poor
just,
sad
keep
people.
Everyone happy.
But look at me, I've only got one happy face there, and my people are happy as can be.
Yeah, because you got so many
extra yellow tokens.
Yellow tokens.
Yeah.
You're in great shape. And then you decide to check your text.
Yeah, you reminded me to go to airplane mode so I wouldn't get all the people blasting. Text incoming and distracting our audience from what's really important.
Yes.
You're still ahead of me on the resource production.
Yep.
Just by one.
Barely.
I'm catching you. But
and I'm quite a bit ahead on science as well. Not only did I steal that science from you, but I'm producing. You're only producing 2 science a turn.
That's right, which is fairly minimal at this stage in the game. Yeah. That's not great.
Yeah, but you see how again I'm diverting resources to your military, because you're worried about aggressions, and rightly so. But it's just, that's what I found worked well for me in this game was, just staying a little bit ahead of you in military, and every time you colonized, you had to spend resources to get your military back up and running. You had to spend science. You didn't have a lot of science, but you had to spend it on getting your military up to speed. And, so I found that was really useful because it bought me a lot of turns, even though I had less civil actions. It bought me a lot of time to actually build my civilization.
That's Saladin. Wow. So I'm just seeing constitutional monarchy. So if I'm you in this situation, I'm looking at that card going, ugh, that might be worth burning 3 actions to take it. But
yes.
But we have to remember too that when we're playing the Lightning Challenge, the goal is you're not allowed to read card text and you can't undo moves. So you just have to play as quickly as possible. And it's easy. Like you can see there's lots of times where I'm looking at this thinking that, wow, that was a really, taking Moses, for instance, was a bad play, but it was just a quick panic, get the turn done.
Yes.
And some of these things are working out, but very consciously, I'm thinking here, if you don't take constitutional monarchy, I'm gonna steal that so I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Prevent
you had this, because for me, when I only had 5 civil actions, to spend 3 of them on constitutional monarchy.
That's right.
I mean, I know.
So that was my first card.
It's a lot, but I was going to miss out on scientific method. And I was going to miss out on Alfred Nobel. So I was trying to and also again with the 2-player game, typically you're going to see, other options come by. And
that's right.
So I thought, well, you know what, if I have to give up, constitutional monarchy now, it'll probably be along shortly.
You can see my urban buildings are really starting to come into their own here, though.
Yes. Oh, yes. No, you're definitely,
so you're
building up.
Your income has dropped. My science is equal to yours residually.
Sorry.
Wait a second. Sorry. I'm ahead in science production now.
You are actually.
Yeah, ahead in food, ahead in culture, and you're ahead in resource production by 1 still.
Yeah, but I'm definitely. You can see I'm falling behind.
Bit of a slide.
That's
here.
why I thought, well,
Nobel.
Let's get.
Yeah.
And I grabbed Nobel just in time, really, because Nobel also gave me a little bit of a military boost just to stay ahead of you again. And
but look at your urban buildings compared to mine. I mean, you've got so few buildings there.
Yeah.
That
and then I had to worry about the happiness factor because we lost some
happiness.
To the
your
bank.
Urban isn't strong, and you don't have a lot of civil actions. Like it really is looking like I'm pulling out ahead here quite handily.
Oh yeah, for sure. The tide was definitely felt like it was beginning to turn. But I'm like, okay, well, no worries. There'll be another government that comes along, and I can. Just that'll get my civil actions up to something more respectable.
Look at all the colonies. So here I'm really hoping I can get that colony card to put in the end game and get the boost from that, because that is going to be a huge boost for me. Yeah,
and I kept picking up wars over culture, which I find that they're much less in the new version of this game. The wars are much less consequential unless someone's really let their military go.
Right. Yes.
In which but in general, wars over culture, because it takes a lot of military actions. It actually takes some time. It allows time for the other guy to build up. So I actually don't even have enough military actions to even use those cards.
That's right
now because I'm still in despotism.
So I'm looking at that fundamentalism card going, oh man, if you don't take it for 3, then I really need to steal that just to hose you even more.
Yeah. But again, I was a bit hamstrung with that.
But I mean,
and you were building up your military. Just again, that was good. Like you're building it up, and look, you're building a lot of good urban
diversifying.
Yeah.
And you're scouting me too, so you're getting a little nervous here.
And miraculously, I'm still ahead in culture. And there was no cards that really jumped out
fundamentalism.
At me. So you can see I was looking at fundamentalism.
Yes, there it is. See, in your shoes.
But I would lose 2 science, and I'm like, no, that was a kind of a deal breaker.
See, I would have taken that there, especially with 14 science.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, might have been right. But then there's my ocean liner. And I love the ocean liner.
You love your ocean liner. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I just I wanted to I took the money, plowed it into the ocean liner, basically.
Funny enough, I actually was ahead in military until you just caught up there.
Yep. And should I have taken fundamentalism? Probably. Especially as we enter age 3 and I'm still in despotism.
You might have been hoping I didn't notice it, or maybe trying to get it for 1 civil action instead of 2. But
yeah, and then you took it off the off the table, which, and looking at the card tableau there, I mean, there's no governments coming.
No.
And I was kind of panicking a little bit, because I'm like, well, where are the other government cards? Like, okay, I let fundamentalism go because I'm like, well, I don't want to take the hit on science, and there's some other good cards to take advantage of. I've got my ocean liner up and running now, so I don't have to worry about the food side of it, that much anymore. And it's nice sometimes when you get a bit of a reserve of food. It's, even if your food is in a negative, sometimes you'll have enough to last you for the rest of the game.
Yep. Overall,
and then I see the spread, and there's no governments there. I'm like, what the heck?
I love with the app how it reminds you, oh, hey, don't forget that this is what you're going to trigger. Yes. That is a nice feature.
Yes. Yeah, the app is very, very
plays
good.
Well.
And then I get immigration, where I can increase my population by 1 for free. I'm like, hey, I already have that.
Yeah.
But I have amassed some science, and now I'm looking at some of the wonders here and thinking, man. But even 6 in having 6, production income is still not that great. Like,
no, you've been
6
at
science
6
is okay, but
you've been at 6 for a very long time on income.
Yeah,
well, you were at 7 for a while, but
and just supplementing with.
But your science is, you're just waiting for the government to drop.
Yeah, basically, and
when you invested more in science.
Yep, I got my science up to 8, and because I was thinking, well, there's military theory there. There's satellites. I can keep my military up. And I always forget to use the ocean liner, so I used it there, causing a bit of. And then I run into the happiness problem again. So I was a bit worried here, because it looked like you were pulling ahead. We're tied now in culture, but I'm falling behind on basically most of the stats out there. Or at least you're tied with me.
Yep.
And your civilization is much better developed.
Wonders we're pretty even on the wonders. Here's another colonization. Let's see if I can make it a clean sweep. Oh yeah, I'm just loading them in there.
Yeah.
And it's not costing me much, like military wise, just 1 little unit plus.
Well, because you had all those cards.
Yeah.
Like that's what made it impossible. Because I just didn't have the cards.
And I didn't even need to use them.
You didn't even have to spend them.
That's right.
But it gave me a bit of an edge on the. And then you finished off the
canal. So that was a huge one for me for my income.
Yes.
So you can see I've jumped ahead to 11 income.
But it allows you to colonize something in your hand, and you didn't have one in your hand. So
yeah, that one was massive for me though, just to get my income up, and I was really hoping that you wouldn't take it, because it was every colony you have, you get extra income.
Well, it wouldn't have meant anything to me.
Yeah.
Because I have no colonies.
That's right. Yeah. But I thought you'd pay me back for taking all the governments.
No, well, I don't, because I can only hold 4 cards in hand, right? So I can't clog. I can't have cards sitting there like you can, because you can have 7 cards in hand. I can only have 4. So
I'm actually surprised I'm still riding.
I didn't have that luxury. But if you look at my political hand there, the impact of colonies, and that was I think the big difference.
Oh, that was the card I needed. That was my.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh boy, this one's going in the garbage.
As
soon as I get a chance,
clinched the deal for me. I was just waiting for it.
And then I put in military theory and satellites. Got my military up, which is I knew it was gonna cause you some stress.
Boosted up to 25 to my 15. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then I didn't really have another move after that. Per se, I took movies, even though I didn't know how I was going to afford them.
Yeah.
But because I didn't even have opera down, I'm like, but I had good military lead on you.
Oh, your happiness! That ocean liner's kind of killing you now.
I know.
You just can't stop taking guys because it says free. But check out the stats now. So I'm making 3 food. You're making 1.
1.
I've got 11 income to your 6. Science, I'm at 7, you're at 8, and I'm at 5 culture, you're at 3. So I'm killing you in just about every category.
Yeah.
I'm killing you in colonies. I'm doing well in wonders. So it's so here's fundamentalism.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? Let's boost up the military. I need to do something because you pulled ahead. I mean, I had some defensive cards in hand, but and then
you always had defensive cards in hand. But yeah, you got your
now
military.
I've pulled the military
up
ahead.
like,
so the only thing you're beating me in is science right now. So
yeah. But as I said, I think that was the one thing I just kept the military ahead, just a little bit ahead of you, and forced you to use those resources on military when you really, should have been focusing on other civilization type things, and I just kept.
Sorry, I got to point this out. Democracy is just about to go in the trash, and I just took communism as well. So I'm just really being a tool.
Yeah. Well, hey, it worked though. It was a great strategy.
I've held you to 4 civil actions, but
was a great strategy. I mean, starved me for this the civic actions. Here I was doing the math. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I get 3 right now, and and I get potentially 12 on once it scores. So I'm like, all right, well,
that's right.
That's 15. I'll take it, even if I have to give you 6.
Yeah, you needed those yellow tokens there, but outbid you again.
Yes,
but we're pretty even on military.
Yes.
Income on the cards at least. So
so you could bid 7 without even like just 1 soldier, like
just cleans out my hand. So
that was crazy.
Need to dump cards. Look at you going for the blue tech here.
Yes, well, that's what I was kind of thinking, that I could maybe do either the final scoring cards that sometimes end up in the final deck, or maybe a leader down the road might be able to benefit from that advanced tech.
So it's funny because I'm thinking here, so I'm beating you in just about every stat. My urban civilization looks great. I've got, everything's awesome. So even though I haven't stacked many cards in the end game tray, I feel confident that I can actually beat you in just about every category.
Yeah, if only you had impact of colonies.
Killing me, and you're just sitting on it too. You're not even tossing it away.
And no. Here's the discard phase. Oh no, maybe not. Not yet. But I was just happy to.
Start territory.
You just had a clean sweep of these colonies, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I went all in on that strategy, but.
Oh, but I won that one.
Yes, you did. Dropped your military a bit, but
I know, but I'm like, I gotta get culture any which way I can.
Yeah, so that was actually a really great play for you.
Yeah,
if you had to get anyone, that would be it.
Yeah, but look at you. Yeah, look at that. 11 science, 12 in income.
Oh yeah,
more than
I can do anything I want any turn basically.
Yeah, and you got a lot of civil and military actions to
look at that.
With, and I'm still in despotism.
Yep, 14 science I'm up to now to your 8.
Yeah,
just crushing.
The only thing that's going to save me is that there's only a handful of cards left in the deck.
That's true. Yeah,
and the game's over soon.
And you're ahead in culture. I mean, you're at 63 culture. I'm at 57.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, because of that colony.
That's right.
But yeah, like I need the game to be over fast, basically.
Yes, and I need it to stretch on as long as possible.
Yeah, because the longer this game goes, although I've through various technologies and stuff, I have fairly decent military actions.
Yeah,
and that was a wash, that card. So. But I couldn't even play Impact of Wonders. I couldn't play Impact of Government. I couldn't play Impact of Colonies. Like, in many ways, I lucked out. If you lucked out with those defensive cards, I lucked out with those final scoring cards. Because any one of those would have hammered me and really helped you.
Yep.
Especially the Colonies one.
Well, an Ocean Liner meant you had people ready to go. When you needed workers, they were poised and set.
Yep. But I didn't have a lot of income.
Like your stats aren't that great here. 1 food, 6 income, 8 science is okay. I mean, even culture 9, not amazing at this stage.
It's okay, but yeah. but I'm just like, well, I'll take some tech and we'll see what we do. And yeah, just nothing. There's not even a card that jumps out at me.
Yeah.
But I took Engineering Genius just on the off chance, like, well, maybe I'll decide to do a wonder towards the end of the game.
I don't know if you saw it there. I love that little triangle button right below my name on the right side where it compares all the stats individually really quickly.
That's great. Yeah.
So I was looking at that thinking, oh yeah, I've got you beat in every category here.
Yes.
Pretty comfortable.
Like my food is just enough to feed the population I have. I can't even. Although really, if it goes into the negative, it's not a problem because I can last like 11 turns.
That's right.
Before I run out of food.
Yeah, that's
true. Unless there's some sort of thing. So there goes colonies. And
bye-bye.
There goes wonders.
There goes my joyful, triumphant end game.
Yes. And I've managed to keep my military up reasonably high.
Age 4, here we go.
But then I lost my leader, and that was a big blow.
Oh, and I lost my constitutional monarchy out of my hand.
Yeah. Yes. You needed that. No, you lost it wasn't constitutional monarchy, it was the other one.
Was it despotism? Or what's it called?
No.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Yeah.
And then you tried an aggression on me, which was the first time you'd...
That's right, finally.
You tried.
I was comfortable. Yeah. Look at that tableau, though. I got to get that movies going.
Yeah.
Dietrich gives me a bonus, I believe, there with that.
Yeah, you're building up. Absolutely. It's... As I said, the only thing that I have going for me is that it's very close to the end. And so the impact... So if you build movies, it boosts you by, 2 culture or whatever... It's only going to add 4 culture before the game's over. So I was thinking,
the final turn. Man, when that comes up, you just think about all your regrets in life.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
Like, what? The final turn?
Yeah. And I didn't even really have any cards that would have really done anything. So I just passed and like, okay, well, we'll... but then, I noticed Charlie Chaplin there, so I'm like, okay, well, let's
squeeze a couple extra
put
points
him in,
out, or
get a couple extra culture points, maybe.
Happiness in the end game scoring.
The civil service was worth it because it gave me I developed it for free, and then I was like, okay, I've got 2 civil actions with not a lot of money or anything to do anything with, so I was just about basically burning any cards that might give you any sort of a bonus.
There's something really aesthetically pleasing when you see all those little green circles on the development cost, that it's much cheaper for you. I just love that, and you've got a lot of those. But yeah, you've just lost it now. But that's fun. I love this app is so beautiful how it streamlines and runs everything, so you don't need to keep track. Like you can see in the tableau there the things that are cheaper.
And I love
for
it
you.
Warns you like, oh, you don't forget you can
actually outbid.
Increase your strength.
That's right.
Which is great. And so I was able to use the shock troops and boost. It didn't make that much of a difference, but
so you're still despotism here.
I know.
Even though you boosted up your civil and military actions, your end game despotism, which is unbelievable.
We kept the same form of government for 1,000 years.
How are you even still walking around with anybody living in your civilization with a despot?
Although with all this civil service stuff, like you look at how many actions I have, and
you did an end around on me with that. You were like, I can't get the government, I'll just make my own.
Yeah, basically cobbled it together.
So we're down to the last
this is the
turn.
Final round. So how do things sit? I'm at 87. You're at 76.
But I still have my 11 to score.
Or sorry, yes. And then I managed to edge you out on that one fairly big. So I've got a bit of an edge, but depending on which cards are buried in the deck, it could evaporate very quickly. So, and this is where as I said, like, you building, say, theology or whatever and building movies, it adds a few culture, but it's just too late in the game to really have an impact.
But up to 17, that is not bad at this stage of the game for a 2-player game.
Oh, yeah. No, you're
14
definitely...
science, 12 income, 3 food. Like, this is looking all right. But I haven't put any real events in to benefit me at this stage, so I'm just counting on... edging you out in every category.
Yeah. And really, there's nothing.
It's 104.
Let's see. Impact of happiness.
Yes. Okay, even.
Tied. Yep, that was a wash. But yeah, you're just 15 behind.
18. We're even again for population. Even with your ocean liner. Harmony.
You got 20
Not
on
bad.
that
You
one.
pulled ahead by 4. But how are you ahead of me? This is ridiculous. Like I only fell to
just
2
got
there.
a little bit more in.
That is unbelievable that you beat me in that game. That you had no business in that end game.
And the funny thing was, it wasn't even just like squeaking.
Look at that. Look at the comparison
past.
there. 0 to 4, 8 to 12. Oh, we got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Can't see the comparison.
Let's cover that up.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, who edited this?
And it wasn't even like a close victory by just like a, one
no, it wasn't.
1 or 2 culture. It was by over 20 culture.
It was a confident victory. I will be very surprised if our subscribers or viewers predicted you to win that one anywhere past the halfway point of the game. But congratulations.
Yes, that was a great game. Thanks so much for watching.
Oh, and just a quick reminder, too, that everybody except for me in Legendary Tactics loves underwater basket weaving.
This is Legendary Tactics. I love it. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for joining us, as I said, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next battle of Through the Ages. Please like and subscribe.